In celebration of President's Week, the Vanderbilt Museum in Centerport has set up a special presidential exhibit featuring two rare artifacts once owned by the Vanderbilt family that celebrate George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. The first display is of this famous painting of George Washington, once owned by the Vanderbilt family.
This painting is after Gilbert Stuart's famous Lansdowne portrait. That's this three-quarter length portrait of George Washington that's kind of an iconic image for the American government at its inception. And this is, we believe, a copy. We do not know who the artist was or whether it was a copy that was done in the time of Gilbert Stuart or whether it was done later in the 1800s. But it's obviously quite old and has a gilded frame, which is very delicate, with an American eagle over it. And it's a wonderful addition to our collection, and we enjoy putting it out on President's Week for the public to view. It's in the Portuguese sitting room, and it can only be viewed when you purchase a ticket for a house tour. So when you buy the grounds pass, you have to pay just a few extra dollars to take the house tour of the living quarters with a tour guide. And it's a wonderful, informative tour, and that's kind of a treat. During President's Week, we put the portrait out.
The second display is of this authentic 1961 letter written by Abraham Lincoln himself.
We hope that the public enjoys it. This is the first time they're going to see it in a long time. It has been in the archives. We've had copies of it out, and actually I've shared the copies with the Sachem Library and people who have done Abraham Lincoln celebrations for President's Week in the past. So, but this is the first time in a long time that our museum visitors will get to see the actual document in an exhibit. So it's very appropriate, and we're happy to be able to put it on display. It's an original letter. We had it verified and documented by the Papers of Abraham Lincoln, which is a not-for-profit grant-funded organization that was formed by the state of Illinois, I believe, to document every single piece of correspondence with Abraham Lincoln's signature or to Mr. Lincoln to document his entire presidency. In a roundabout way, it may have had something to do with the Vanderbilt family at one time. Don't forget, the letter predates our Mr. Vanderbilt because the date of the letter is 1861, the year that Lincoln became president. That's the year he took office. The letter was to Mayor Fernando Wood, the mayor of New York City. This letter has a very cordial tone, and he writes to Mayor Wood that he'd like to thank him in advance for all his cooperation and his offer of help with, and I do believe he's referring to the war effort for the Civil War or the lead up to it. What our take on it is that perhaps Mayor Wood was instrumental in getting troops sent down on the railroad from New York City, and the Vanderbilts, of course, own the railroad. So we're thinking one of the past generations of Vanderbilts had this letter and passed it down through the family, and that's how our Mr. Vanderbilt wound up with it.
Gress says it's fascinating being able to look at the words written by Lincoln himself.
Staff is excited about it. It's very special to be able to be near an artifact that he, piece of paper that he touched. And we also have the envelope in his hand with the original postmark and the date, and it's all legible, and it's still in very, very good condition. It was well cared for by the Vanderbilts, so it's a great thing for us.
You can see the presidential exhibit through Sunday, February 27th. For more information, you can check out the Vanderbilt Museum's website at www.vanderbiltmuseum.org. In Centerport, Collora reporting.